This will be a shorter one from Sayre to Sapulpa. Oh, Misha's streaming. Looks like I'm at 957 subscribers now. Sapulpa. Okay. Next. Done. Public. And save. On here, it's a little easier to do than messing with my phone. Good God, you guys, first. What's wrong with you guys? Get some AC on. It's up to 87 degrees in here. I just hit 30 minutes. I just figured I'd take a quick look at what kind of stuff's going on in our Facebook group. Oh, Angela Shaw's still in the group. Alright, I was kind of wondering about her. Six-state high-volume traffic enforcement kicks off Thursday. What is this? Something on CDLlife.com. Hey, what's up, Sammy? Or Linda? This is the only time I've done that. I'll have to look for your truck when I'm at the yard, Linda. See if it's still around there. It's intended to create a bigger net for law enforcement to fish to catch criminals. Driver-focused enforcement effort intended to nab criminals starting on Thursday. The enforcement effort, dubbed the Six-State Trooper Project, runs from March 12 to 14 in Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. During the 3-day campaign, drivers can expect to see an increased presence of state troopers. Okay, none of those are, no. Because my load, this load's not due until the 15th, and I won't be in any of those states, so blah, 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 blah. Why target traffic violations to catch criminals? Troopers understand that the criminal element, by and large, operates in a mobile environment. Criminals regularly must navigate our roadways while moving from point A to point B. By conducting large-scale coordinated patrols such as the Six-State Trooper Project, we effectively create a bigger net for law enforcement to fish. Oh, one of my admins. Okay, well, whatever. I need to also transfer money because I just got paid today. So I need to go into my Ameritrade account and transfer. My account, deposit, transfer from my bank. My account, alright. Nope. Because I won't be able to get to this later until the end of my shift, and by then, because it's going to be more than 3 hours to get from here to Sapulpa. which means the markets will be closed by the time I get the transfer done. Now, what is going on with the S&P 500 right now? It is currently down just about 6%, and it was down over 7 earlier. They tripped the circuit breaker, so it's getting better. And I know there was an article I queued up to listen to. If I'm swapping with someone, do I still need to take a picture of the bill to turn in with the trip sheet? No. Unless you're delivering to the customer, you don't scan it. Ray Miller. Only if you've delivered on that load. For instance, delivering the first of a 3-stop, you'll include for the stop that you delivered. No deliveries, just trip sheet and any receipts. Yeah, so exactly. If you didn't deliver to the customer, you don't scan in the BOL when you do your swap. One of our babies all washed up. This is at our drop yard in Florida. I've only been to Davenport for a washout once, about 18 months ago. We can stay there, right? Procedure, check-in, bathroom, 24 access. Make sure you park in spots 11 through 20 only. George Whitaker can give you more insights into the bathroom. Let's see. Restroom situation. He's a local driver out of that yard. I don't normally use the restroom. I think they have a outhouse or whatever. I just can't remember. Watch out for someone's deer. A near miss I had the other day. I'll look at that later. Sounds like a Carl kind of situation. First week out here. I know they don't take the truck payment, but they do take, of course, fuel. What else do they take out? I'm estimating $320 for the first week on what they take out without truck payment yet. Already saw the amount for the lock and thermometers. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. It's not far off. Usually I say about 200. But now I don't, let's see. My fixed costs are right around 300 per week, but I also don't pay for medical insurance because I'm on my wife's insurance anyway. Let's see. If you pay for medical insurance, plan on your fixed expenses being a bit higher than mine. Never under any circumstances lose your composure at any shipper or receiver. If you're right and you know you're right, ask for a supervisor. Communicate the problem with your DM and remain calm and stand your ground. Following these steps this morning saved me my job, JCT a huge headache, and hopefully will result in an employee at Tyson receiving proper training on how to interact with people. Okay, yeah, now this guy, I've been wanting to meet him. He's, I can tell he's really like down to earth, nice guy. I've seen him in the group a while and just haven't got a chance to meet him yet. You're right down the road for me, bro. Yeah, and this is at Council Bluffs. Then now speaking of, I remember there was a guy there I dealt with when I picked up a load from there, and the guy was a complete asshole. I mean, well, not completely rude, but he wouldn't say a damn word to me. Picked up from there a while back, and the guard drop yard now. Let's see. I'm already 12, so I'll say maybe 45, 1600. Alright, I need to get going, so I was thinking I could be there by around 3 or something, but no, it'd be a little longer than that. Alright. Canceled spring training. This is getting ridiculous. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna get it rolling. Get this thing turned around and get the hell out of here. Yeah, come on. Definitely want to make sure I'm at the yard before they go home, so I can get my 2-year diamonds, and then I also maybe get the shop to service my APU. '89 Golf. That truck's been used and abused a little more than mine has. I've done 307, so should be in the ballpark of 210 to 220 as far as the miles are concerned. And at 70 miles an hour, it'd be a little bit over 3 hours. So I'm figuring maybe about quarter to 4 it should be there. Looks like we're clear here. That's a stop sign's private property anyway. Than that, Carl, because the NBA already suspended all of their games, every one of them, because one of the Utah Jazz players tested positive for coronavirus. So they don't want their players to get any of their players to get sick either, especially after one of their players already is sick. Friends at the yard. I got Daniel Finney. Yeah, let's see, I can't remember how long he's been with us. He hasn't been with us that long, but he's not like brand new either. And then my friend Dave. He's also there. I talked to Dave while I was on my break. Let them know I'll be there in a few more hours. Comes on here and watches my streams, just talking about about how he's just as sick of hearing all about this virus as I am. I'm really tired of hearing even one single damn thing in the news about it. It's a freaking virus. It's a damn flu. It's a slightly higher mortality rate. Big deal. Still have a greater than 95% chance of surviving it. Much more than 3. Be like maybe 3:15 or so. End of the Sayre area now. Elk City will be next. Come on, Pathfinder. Or that's a 4Runner. Same difference. Too much momentum because I had to check up and wait for that 4Runner.
made you walk out in the middle of a negotiation? Craig Dixon, former USAF veteran. Answered January 7, 2020.
Go Air Force!
This happened in 1992. A long time ago. But it does bring back memories. I went to a Toyota dealership in Albuquerque on I-25 North. It had a different dealer name then. So, I looked at stick shift truck that liked. When we returned from the test drive with the salesperson, I was a little underwhelmed. So, I wanted to try a newer model. The one test driven was a used one, about a 90 model with a 4-cylinder. As we got out of the vehicle, the salesperson drove it back in the lot and forgotten to place it in gear with the brake on. And it was on a small hill. By then I had walked about 15 feet from the vehicle. She followed. So did the truck. It rolled, and she made a quick dive into the cab to jump on the foot brake with her left hand. I never ever seen a woman move that fast. Not even to this day. She seemed surprised that I suddenly lost interest in going on the next test drive. I told her as she scrambled to get upright and seated herself in the small truck. I have your card, I'll call. It wasn't the loss of respect for Toyota, but she scared me. I can still see her legs as she was dragged about 5 feet. I kept my Ford Ranger for a few more years. 2K views. U20 upvoters. About careers privacy terms contact. Open an app. Article 2 of 84. Answer, Quora. Open an app. Sign in. What is something about the American prison system that is really kind of dark but gets ignored? Joni Lin, Quora most viewed writer on history of food 2019. Updated January 6, 2020. Author has 214 answers and 2 meters answer views. Kind of dark. Nothing about the American prison system is just kind of dark. It's wholly, completely, disturbingly, very dark. The entire system is broken from A to Z. And it's all very easy to ignore, as long as you're lucky enough not to be affected by it in any way. I've never been to prison myself, but too many people I've cared about over the years have. I've spent more time in prison visiting rooms and writing letters of encouragement to suicidal friends behind bars than I care to think about. Most of my friends got out and turned their lives around despite the years of lost functionality and lack of support from their society and the system that incarcerated them. Some of them did not turn their lives around and became better criminals who were better able to avoid getting caught as a result of the informal education they received in prison. Some of them did not become better people or better criminals and quickly relapsed into whatever addictions, behaviors brought them into the system in the first place, plus some. Consequently, this landed them right back in prison. When I first saw this question, I was overwhelmed with potential answers, some from personal experience and some from years' worth of research. This is a topic I hold very close to my heart and have spent a lot of time studying. Here are a few of the ones that I find most concerning, and any reasonable person with both a literal and metaphorical heart should too. Women are often denied basic hygiene products, either as a form of punishment or just because there aren't enough to go around. Source: inmates are often fed food from packages labeled, not for human consumption. This has been claimed in lawsuits and pleas for help to journalists by inmates from various states. It is also something that I have had confirmed by someone very close to me who once worked in the system. 1/4 of the world's total prison population are in U.S. prisons. We lock up 655 to 754 people for every 100,000 people in our country, by far the highest incarceration rate in the world. Source: women are often subjected to unbelievable humiliation and assault. Some of their experiences are so horrible, I can't bring myself to recount them here. It's horrifying. If you're interested in knowing more, I provide the following sources. Stripped of their rights. I got a life sentence at 17. Then I was raped in prison. Double injustice, rape of women in prison. The monthly shaming of women in state prisons, Public Health Post. In prison, discipline comes down hardest on women. Here's how prison and jail systems brutalize women, especially mothers. It has been estimated that nearly 40% of the American prison population should not be incarcerated because they do not pose a true threat to public safety. Source: transgender individuals in prison are subjected to unbelievable humiliation and assault on a regular basis. They are 10 times more likely than the general prison population to be sexually assaulted, and an estimated 50% of trans prisoners have been. Source: Transgender woman cites attacks and abuse in men's prison. Law enforcement and criminal justice personnel interactions with transgender people in the United States, a literature review. Still in danger, the ongoing threat of sexual violence against transgender prisoners. Prisoners are expected to join gangs that are almost always divided along racial lines. This means otherwise nonviolent people, whose initial crimes may have been no more than drug possession, are brought into a whole new world where it's kill or be killed. I had a close friend who joined a white supremacist gang when he went to prison for methamphetamine-related charges, nonviolent. He was led to believe that the gang would offer him protection, and when you're facing 20 years, it might seem like a good idea to have that powerful force on your side. Within a year, he had become disillusioned with the gang, and when he was asked to slit the throat of a rival gang member, he refused. That night 2 men jumped him and attempted to slit his throat to send a message. Thankfully for all of those who love him, he survived and was moved to protective custody for the rest of his sentence. He was a stupid 19-year-old kid from an extremely impoverished Oklahoma town at the time of his sentencing. Now, at 39, and out of prison for 3 years, he still carries the scars, physical and mental. We expect people to magically get their lives on track after prison sentences, but we offer very little support in doing that. Going to prison isn't like sending a kid to timeout where they can just say they're sorry and have all be forgiven with a clean slate. You have a record that follows you around. There's a social stigma that makes people highly unlikely to hire you or rent you an apartment.
Yep.
How are you supposed to turn your life around without a good paying job or a place to live? How are you supposed to avoid your old habits when you can't make anything work doing it the right way? Formerly incarcerated people are 30% less likely to find a job than those with no criminal record, and make on average 15% less if they do manage to find a job. Out of trouble, but criminal records keep men out of work. Boxton: how a criminal record keeps you unemployed for life. Despite the fact that education has been shown to be hugely effective at reducing recidivism, we consistently spend more and more on housing more inmates and less on educating them. Studies have shown that people who participate in any education program while incarcerated have a 43% lower chance of returning to the system. Prisons that offer college programs also have significantly lower rates of violence. 2.7 million children in the United States have at least one parent in prison. Source: 80% of incarcerated women are mothers and 60% have children under 18 at home. Source: these kids suffer from poor educational outcomes, poor school attendance, increased rates of mental illness, unstable family environments, and poor economic futures. It creates a cycle of poverty, undereducation and crime, incarceration in future generations that is a difficult cycle to break. The prison systems of the United States, both at the state and federal levels, are a disgraceful black eye on a country that is supposed to be founded on and so highly value the principles of human dignity, freedom and opportunity for all. What is most disturbing and disgusting of all, however, is that we allow this out-of-control system to continue purely out of greed. We have increased our spending on housing prison inmates at 3 times the rate that we have on K-12 education. Source: it's big business, and unfortunately in today's America, big business is king, even if it's the business of human lives. Prisoner rights, or the lack thereof, are easy to ignore for most people because, well, to be blunt, out of sight, out of mind. I hear many people say things like, if they didn't want to be in that situation, they shouldn't have broken the law, or, we have rules for a reason. These responses disgust me because they are completely ignorant of just how easy it is to make a mistake, or how quickly one mistake can snowball out of control into more and more, or just how difficult American society makes it for certain groups of people, be it cultural, racial, socioeconomic, gender, orientation, or any combination of these and other factors to lead perfectly Protestant lives. If you've never seen how quickly things can go wrong in life, then you've lived a very sheltered, privileged existence. I sincerely hope your fragile reality never comes crashing in on your head so that you are forced to experience the harsh realities that so many in America already contend with on a daily basis. Note, none of this is to say that there are not people who genuinely need to be incarcerated. In a civilized society, there must be rules and there must be appropriate consequences for breaking those rules. Violent people should be behind bars for as long as is necessary to keep others safe. I am a mother and I want my children growing up in as safe of an environment as possible. However, as a mother, I also don't want my children growing up in an environment where human lives and the lives of future American generations are sold down the river to the highest bidder.
I thought you were going to speed up.
34K views. You 835 upvoters. You sharers. About careers privacy terms contact. Open an app. By continuing, I agree that I am at least 13 years old and have...
Yeah, what's up, Eric? How's orientation going? Now, that person has some really good points there. It's a screwed up system. Do whatever. If they do their time and already did their probation and all that, and their parole time, whatever, and paid all their fines and whatever else, and if they've met all of the sentencing guidelines to return to normal society, then they shouldn't be treated like they're a piece of shit. I know a lot of people who've had that same problem where they made mistakes in life and they're paying for it for the rest of their lives because the way society views them. Is that a purple? No, it's a blue one. Dark blue. What's happening? Oh, I thought you were going to say you didn't want to go there again because of how shitty the backing is. Oh, okay. Uh huh. How bad was it? Damn. Yeah, did they approve you for detention pay? Hopefully, they'll give you at least a couple hours worth, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's right. $20 an hour. Yeah. Hopefully not. Huh. It's at 4 o'clock the same day. Oh, okay. So you're saying it was like a 4 a.m. pickup? Where at? The hell, I didn't know we did pickups that early in the morning. Wow. Right? Yeah, what's up with that? Oh, Harrisonville. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna bed down at the yard today because I'm gonna get a shower and then do some laundry while I'm there too, and meet up with Dave Jennings and Daniel Finney when I'm there. I don't know if Daniel will still be there by then, but I know Dave will be there. It's 4166 Alpha. Yeah, then I'll go pester Shay, and then today's my 2 year anniversary, so I'm gonna get those. I'm gonna get the next set of diamonds for my truck. Hoping I can also talk the swap crew into let me drop it, or see if the planner, whoever, because it's not due in Illinois until the 15th at 3 a.m. So I can have it there tomorrow night. Yeah. So I'll see. If it comes down to it, I'll just I don't know. If they don't, if I'm not able to get rid of it at the yard or something, maybe try to get up there earlier in the day tomorrow, or as early as I can tomorrow, and then I don't know, maybe PC to somewhere. Do that or go hang out at the TA in Morris, and then just run the 40 or so miles when it's time to deliver. You like which one? Hmm. Yeah, I like that one. It's a little further west though than the route I'm taking. Okay, you stupid pickup. Make up your mind what speed you're gonna run, so I can stay in one lane. Yeah, I'm in between Elk City and Clinton. Not too far west of Clinton. I got, I don't know, maybe another 10, 15 miles. I'll be in Clinton. So I assume you'll be taking 54 across, right? Oh yeah, Sunday morning. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Because every time I do those loads, it's the same thing. And then once they know what my ETA is, they usually schedule it. Yeah, usually end up like a 4 or 5 a.m. delivery or something like that. Oh, it sounds like you're having all kinds of fun with California planners again. What's taking you so long? Yeah, I'm wondering who Taryn Hunt had a problem with at the Council Bluffs Tyson. Yeah, I wonder if it's the same dude that I had a problem with there. Because I went there one time and the guy wouldn't say one single word to me. It wasn't social at all. He said the absolute minimum possible. He just barely do his job and that's it. And like he didn't want anything to do with me. They start laughing, like there's the pigs and all that. Huh. Ah, they did what? Well, I mean, it does stand out, and see, it does elicit conversation too. No, I don't know. Yeah, that's funny. I should. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, and I've heard the backstory on that one, but I'm not gonna divulge it. Not my place to tell. Yeah, I know the real reason why they call it the Purple Pony Express. Mm, I don't really. Well, I've talked to Kelly personally, and she's non-specific about it, but uh, I've been told by other people what it really is about. But yeah, I don't want to divulge. But I mean, it works. I mean, sh- she's got she got those two purple ponies on her deer guard, like you have your big things, and it stands out. You see the ponies mounted to the deer guard, and you know it's her. Well, she also has those freaking electronic mirrors on her truck too. Have you seen those yet? Yeah, so I know she was telling me like there are pros and cons to them. I guess there's things that she likes about them, but then there are a couple of things she doesn't like about them too. It's like I guess in rainy or whatever, rainy or foggy, whatever the hell it is, conditions. Apparently they work really well compared to the regular mirrors. It's yeah, it's almost like there's not even any rain or fog or whatever the hell it is. I forget what she said. It's one of the two, or maybe both. I don't know. I'm just, but it's said something about that. If there's, like when it's one of the whatever, she'll look in those on the screens for those, and she can actually clearly see stuff that she can't even see through the regular mirror. Damn it! This freaking pickup, freaking dipshit went right back around me, probably because I got slowed down by the hill. Get out of my face, truck! I gotta sit here and maybe kick back until hopefully he'll get his ass off the freeway or something. Yeah, I'm getting into Clinton now. What's up? Blew the engine and the truck was only 36,000 in it. Wow, that sucks. So now what? They gonna tow him back and then get him back up to Salt Lake City and get him a new truck or something, or what? Oh, Richland, yeah. And it was going to California. Good God, who's the idiot loader who loaded his trailer? Purple. Damn, that sucks. And he said he's with Pride, correct? Not Prime. All right, that's what I thought. Thank God, that freaking stupid pickup finally out of my face. Yeah, he got off the road here in Clinton. Thank God. How so? Oh, okay, so great. So now this fucking idiot behind me, because he can't handle staying behind me, now he's gonna block the other lane because he didn't know that I was slowed down because of the stupid pickup driver. And when the pickup driver finally went by, I went to speed up, and now this clown was sitting there blocking the left lane and got four wheelers trying to go by. Dumbass. Maybe just stay behind me next time. Now I got to be the nice guy and back off so these four wheelers can go by. Yeah, I mean that's what I prefer to do, but also for keeping the left lane clear as much as possible. And the guy's just sitting there doing the same speed as me and not even at my trailer yet. Got 3 cars stacking up on him. And he's not gaining, didn't seem to be gaining an inch on me. And again, I guess he would have probably caught me on this hill that I'm climbing now anyway. But yeah, too many dum-dums like him. They don't know how to just get off their damn gas pedal a little bit. Even just back off a couple miles an hour. I had to back off a couple miles an hour for that stupid pickup. So I'm not going to keep playing back and forth games with him and keep hogging a left lane for nothing. Uh, I'm kind of wondering when do we start doing early morning pickups in Colton? I've never seen one like that. Because they always seem to be like 1,300, 1,400, 1,500, 1,700, whatever. Well, that works because it gives more time to get them to where they need to go a lot of times. And then, there are times when I go home or something and want to take a break and then ask for like maybe be reload at 7 a.m. or something, or be ready to reload at 7 a.m. And then sometimes I have to wait till the afternoon to pick up. Right? Yeah, and you can get there in 3 shifts. Damn. So they burn some of your 14 then, basically. Okay, so what are you doing to stress Shay out anyway? Because I guess she's been like really hard on my recruit. That's like, what'd you do to piss her off and cause her to do that? Well, we know that. I mean, but come on, what'd you do more recently? Yeah, so Cody was on his way up to Salt Lake City for delivery. He had 2 stops, one in Salt Lake City and one in Roy, which is only like 40, 35, 40 miles away, whatever, from Salt Lake. And I guess she's like freaking out about the fact that he started his 14-hour clock early. Yeah, when he and I were still in Tolleson together, and then he made it up to that pilot off of US 93. You know, that new one in between Kingman and Vegas. That's a cool trailer. So he gets there and stops for a nap, and he wakes up to her calling him. I'm wondering, like, freaking out because she thinks he's gonna fail the load. So she puts him on the repower monitor. But then, you know, he gets rolling and he gets up to the Loves in Vegas. And I asked him, "Well, so when's your load due in Vegas? I mean, in Salt Lake, 6 a.m. And when's it due in Roy? 10. Okay, you just shut down in Vegas and you're barely 400 miles away." And I kind of walked him through the steps of figuring out his ETA. I'm like, I don't see what the problem is. There, you'll easily make it. Uh, what's that? Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Yeah. So I think, yeah, I think you're right though. That's kind of what I told him too. Is I think it's just she's just trying to get to know him and doesn't know what his habits are. And not to mention now they have that competition that they do with all the DMs. You know the competition they do for like DM of the month. I'm not sure that I know they have like on-time service rate and all that kind of stuff on there. I'm not sure what all their criteria is, but they always post it in the monthly newsletters now, and they'll say who got it, and then they have what I forget what they call the award, but basically they can go home half a day early, or they can come in half a day early and get paid for the full day. So now they make it more of a strong motivator for them to try to get the best on time service and all that. Yeah. 60 miles from the turnpike. I usually get on the turnpike and then take the turnpike up. Is that the way you usually go to, or go through where? Oh, okay. Yeah, I try to stay away from there. Depends on the day. Damn it. Gonna get railroaded by a faster truck here. So I was iffy. Should I go or should I not go? Oh, yeah. I just started my I finished my 30 in Sayre, and I can run straight from Sayre to there, no problem. So I don't have any plans to stop in OKC at all. You used to what? The rest stop? Oh, just like stopping there. Okay. There's a sign. There's a building over here on the north side of the freeway, right by exit. Just went around the 81 mile marker. It says Joan Jett for president. Oh, yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, the one it's right by the turnpike also. Yeah, it's not a bad place to stop there. And the fuel prices there usually in that area are usually pretty good too, relatively speaking. And you got what Sonic Country. Oh no, what's that? Cracker Barrel. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, I think I like IHOP more than. Oh, okay. So you got a little crush over there at IHOP, huh? Yeah. All right. All right. Bye. You guys know who the hell this Danny J guy is? Because whoever the fuck he is no longer welcome on my channel. Where the hell does he get off calling me another YouTube super dude, you only been on here for how long? And listening to me and talking about another trucker, and then I'm on the phone for half the time, and then I just glance over there and I see a stupid comment. Me. I banned him from my channel and then I deleted his comment. It's just a long tap on the comment and then tap on permanent ban and then tap on it again and then long tap it again and then delete comment. I haven't had to worry about getting moderators for my channel because I don't really have any problems with people, being haters or whatever. But I'm gonna have someone like him running their stupid ass mouth, and I might have to consider sending some, giving some people mod access. Out from the turnpike, which is over on the west end of Oklahoma City. Admit that I can be a bit of a know-it-all at times, and it kind of goes with the territory with just what kind of person I am, but I'm also very open-minded and receptive to other people's perspectives. There might be times where, hey, I might not agree with what you have to say, I might have my reasons for disagreeing, but dude, get out of my lane. What are you thinking? But it doesn't mean I can't just, at least just keep quiet and listen to what someone else's thoughts are, too, because you never know, I can learn something new. I'm always for learning something new. Into my lane. Look at the way you're holding that steering wheel. He's got his hands way up at like 11 and a half and 12 and a half position. All the way at the very top of the steering wheel, both of them. obviously I talk about the intelligence thing a lot, but I don't really like to see it like there's anything that that's any special about me that nobody else is capable of. It's all a matter of who has how much interest in what they're doing and learning. As smart as I am, I'll never be any good at art. There might be some stuff that people who are really into art can really figure out easily because they have an interest in it. I don't. I have an interest in checking it out, watching, but I'll never be an artist. Yeah, and there are other stuff too, like just regular topics that maybe someone else might have more interest in, and they're going to be a lot more well educated on it or experienced with it because they have that interest in it. Versus me, I might have some experience with it for however many years, but it doesn't mean I really have true experience. Yeah, and a lot of what I know in trucking is stuff that I learned from other people. Experienced people, and I can sniff bullshit. I can tell when someone's trying to tell me this is the way things are done or whatever, merely because that's the way they were trained, versus they're telling me this because there's a damn good reason why it's like that. And it's like, you gotta sell me on this stuff. If you sell me, then I'll absolutely hardcore back you up on it. And I'm not an idiot. I wasn't born yesterday. I can figure out who's bullshitting and who's not. So there's a guy at Sayre, England. He's been there for 20 years now. He spent a lot of years in a Coca-Cola fleet, and now he does their pods fleet. But he's a really calm guy, and he's always. I figure out a lot of stuff on my own, but he's one of those guys where if he has something to say, I always listen, because even if he's a little bit terse at times about what he's getting at or why he has that perspective on it, I keep an open mind to it. And I might disagree with him at first, but then I'll get a little more experience on stuff like, running recaps versus doing 34-hour resets. That was something I disagreed with him on for a while, and like it shouldn't matter, but and it's not just I'll bet my blah number of years of experience on it. That's not enough to convince me. I like to see it on paper. How is this in writing? In theory. Support your theory. Support your argument. But over about the course of a year or so, whatever, I started getting some more different experiences with both 34s and recaps, and I started to think, I think there's actually something to be said about this argument. And it's a lot of it has to do with appointment times that the customers give. Sometimes you're not, your appointment times are far enough back where you don't need a 34, or it's not enough where you can get a 34, but you're able to get into your recaps. And let's just say you have a 1,500 mile load they want to give you, that they could give you. If you're only running 8-hour shifts instead of 10-hour shifts, and over the course of 2 days worth of driving, that's 4 hours of on-duty time that you won't get back until a later date. So that limits your ability to either run harder miles on the next load, or so you end up having to run a slower speed load, or you just end up not being able to get a load because there's nothing that matches up with your hours. So I ended up figuring out, he's right in that, and because of that, I'd rather get back 10 hours than 8 in most cases. There's a lot more to that too, with depending on country left with those. They got one in Barstow, and they have currently like 2 drive-in screens in Riverside. They used to have another drive-in theater in Riverside, but I think they closed it down over by Flabob Airport. And I haven't been to a drive-in in a while. I used to go all the time when I was younger. Remember, that was always fun, although I would fall asleep during the second movie because I was a kid. 100-mile marker, just under 40 miles away, 40 from the turnpike. So what movie do you think about watching, Della? The new version of Midway, and is it worth it? Because I'm tempted to get it on my Amazon account, but I just don't know if it's worth it compared to the original movie, or just even without comparing it to the original Midway movie. How worthwhile is it to watch? Yeah, Sean, I agree. It's 1917 we went and saw in the movie theater. That was a good one. That was interesting too, and how they did that movie in kind of like one continuous long kind of take. You know, just flowed smoothly all the way from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. Yeah, it's not like, say, like a Quentin Tarantino movie where you have sometimes you put the end of the movie first or first or whatever, and work your way from then go to the front and then work your way to the end, or you know, really mess with your head kind of stuff, like trying to figure anything out, or having all these scenes that are different people that don't seem to have any connection, and then you know they have a connection somehow, you just can't figure it out until later in the movie. Yeah, that was a good flick. Bloodshot. I don't think I've seen anything like that, but I did see an ad on Facebook for a movie just recently. I think it's coming out in June of this year, if I remember right. I don't remember the name of it, but it would look like one that would interest me, though. Wow. Yeah, it's just amazing, right? How many problems this virus is causing. is Sergeant Rock? I'm not even sure I'm familiar with that one. Doesn't sound familiar. Is that like a Marvel or DC character or something? I'm completely lost on that one. Bastards. Now his four-wheeler's coming up and my lane's in. Are they going to be nice? I'm coming over. I don't give a shit if you like it or not. Can't have enough freaking courtesy. Seeing the damn lane setting, too bad. Methamphetamine might be a good deterrent to coronavirus. them legal orders or whatever. So you can't do martial law when the president's still in charge of the military. At least that's my understanding of it. Tested martial law scenarios in various cities. Did not work out well in any simulation. I remember there was a movie that came out where, well, what movie was that? I want to say Bruce Willis was in it. Maybe I'm wrong. Or Ed Harris or somebody. What's that movie I'm thinking of? It's worth getting educated on martial law. When can it and can it not apply? Let's queue up a Voice Aloud article. We can all educate ourselves on it. Like I said, I'm always for educating myself or others. Anytime we can learn something new, that's great.
Martial law, Wikipedia. Not to be confused with marital law. For other uses, see martial law disambiguation. Dunmore's proclamation declaring martial law in the colony of Virginia, proclaimed May 27, 1775, several months after the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. Martial law is the imposition of direct military control of normal civilian functions by a government, especially in response to a temporary emergency such as invasion or major disaster, or in an occupied territory. Martial law can be used by governments to enforce their rule over the public, as seen in multiple countries listed below. Such incidents may occur after a coup d'etat, Thailand in 2006 and 2014, and Egypt in 2013, when threatened by popular protest. China, Tiananmen Square protests of 1989, 2009's Iranian Green Movement that led to the takeover by Revolutionary Guards to suppress political opposition, Poland in 1981, or to stabilize insurrections or perceived insurrections, Canada, the October Crisis of 1970. Martial law may be declared in cases of major natural disasters. However, most countries use a different legal construct, such as a state of emergency. Martial law has also been imposed during conflicts, and in cases of occupations, where the absence of any other civil government provides for an unstable population. Examples of this form of military rule include post-World War II Reconstruction in Germany and Japan, the recovery and reconstruction of the former Confederate States of America during Reconstruction era in the United States of America following the American Civil War, and German occupation of northern France between 1871 and 1873 after the Treaty of Frankfurt ended the Franco-Prussian War. Typically, the imposition of martial law accompanies curfews, the suspension of civil law, civil rights, and habeas corpus, and the application or extension of military law or military justice to civilians. Civilians defying martial law may be subjected to military tribunal court-martial. Contents: 1 by country. 1.1 Australia. 1.2 Brunei. 1.3 Canada. 1.4 China. 1.5 Egypt. 1.6 Iceland. 1.7 Indonesia. 1.8 Iran. 1.9 Ireland. 1.10 Israel. 1.11 Mauritius. 1.12 Pakistan. 1.13 Philippines. 1.14 Poland. 1.15 South Korea. 1.16 Switzerland. 1.17 Syria. 1.18 Taiwan. 1.19 Thailand.
I don't remember what mile marker the El Reno scales are at.
1.21 Ukraine. 1.22 SFR Yugoslavia. 1.23 United States. 2 see also. 3 references. 4 further reading. 5 external links. By country. Australia. The Black War was a period of violent conflict between British colonists and Aboriginal Australians in Tasmania from the mid-1820s to 1832. With an escalation of violence in the late 1820s, Lieutenant Governor George Arthur declared martial law in November 1828, effectively providing legal immunity for killing Aboriginal people. It would remain in force for more than 3 years, the longest period of martial law in Australian history. Brunei. Brunei has been under a martial law since a rebellion occurred on the 8th of December 1962 known as the Brunei Revolt and was put down by British troops from Singapore. The Sultan of Brunei, Sultan Haji Hassanal Bolkiah Muhyiddin Wadala, is presently the head of state and also the Minister of Defence and Commander-in-Chief of Royal Brunei Armed Forces. Canada. See also, War Measures Act. The War Measures Act was a Government of Canada statute that allowed the government to assume sweeping emergency powers, stopping short of martial law, i.e. the military does not administer justice, which remains in the hands of the courts. The Act has been invoked 3 times, during World War I, World War II, and the October Crisis of 1970. In 1988, the War Measures Act was replaced by the Emergencies Act. During the colonial era, martial law was proclaimed and applied in the territory of the province of Quebec during the invasion of Canada by the Army of the American Continental Congress in 1775-1776. It was also applied twice in the territory of Lower Canada during the 1837-1838 insurrections. On December 5, following the events of November 1837, martial law was proclaimed in the District of Montreal by Governor Gosford, without the support of the Legislative Assembly in the Parliament of Lower Canada. It was imposed until April 27, 1838. Martial law was proclaimed a second time on November 4, 1838, this time by Acting Governor John Colborne, and was applied in the District of Montreal until August 24, 1839. China. See also, Tiananmen Square protests of 1989. Egypt. Martial law in Egypt. Egyptian flag tanks man an apparent checkpoint just outside the Midtown Tahrir area during the 2011 Egyptian Revolution. In Egypt, a state of emergency has been in effect almost continuously since 1967. Following the assassination of President Anwar el-Sadat in 1981, a state of emergency was declared. Egypt has been under state of emergency ever since. The parliament has renewed the emergency laws every 3 years since they were imposed. The legislation was extended in 2003 and were due to expire at the end of May 2006. Plans were in place to replace it with new anti-terrorism laws. But after the Dahab bombings in April of that year, state of emergency was May 2010, the state of emergency was further extended, albeit with a promise from the government to be applied only to terrorism and drug suspects. The state of emergency gives military courts the power to try civilians and allows the government to detain for renewable 45-day periods and without court orders anyone deemed to be threatening state security. Public demonstrations are banned under the legislation. On the 10th of February 2011, the ex-president of Egypt, Hosni Mubarak, promised the deletion of the relevant constitutional article that gives legitimacy to state of emergency in an attempt to please the mass number of protesters that demanded him to resign. On the 11th of February 2011, the president stepped down and the vice president Omar Suleiman de facto introduced the country to martial law when transferring all civilian powers from the presidential institution to the military institution. It meant that the presidential executive powers, the parliamentary legislative powers and the judicial powers all transferred directly into the military system, which may delegate powers back and forth to any civilian institution within its territory. The military issued in its third announcement the end of the state of emergency as soon as order is restored in Egypt. Before martial law, the Egyptian parliament under the constitution had the civilian power to declare a state of emergency. When in martial law, the military gained all powers of the state, including to dissolve the parliament and suspend the constitution as it did in its fifth announcement. Under martial law, the only legal framework within the Egyptian territory is the numbered announcements from the military. These announcements could for instance order any civilian laws to come back into force. The military announcements communiques are the de facto only current constitution and legal framework for the Egyptian territory. It means that all affairs of the state are bound by the Geneva Conventions. Iceland. The Icelandic constitution provides no mechanism for the declaration of war, martial law nor state of emergency. Indonesia. See also 2003-04 Indonesian offensive in Aceh. On May 18, 2003, during a military activity in Aceh, under the order of the President, Indonesian Army Chief imposed martial law for a period of 6 months to offensively eliminate the Aceh separatists. Iran. On September 7, 1978, in response to public demonstrations protesting the perceived government involvement in the death of the son of Ayatollah Khomeini, Mustafa Khomeini, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi appointed Chief of Army Staff General Ghulam Ali Obc as the military governor of the capital city of Tehran. On September 8, the government effectively declared martial law on the capital along with several other cities throughout the country, after which further protests erupted that lead to the army opening fire on a group of protesters in Tehran's Jala Square on the same day. Estimates on the number of casualties vary, however. According to Iranian human rights activist Ahmadettin Baghi, the number of people killed was 88, of which 64 were gunned down in Jala Square. The day is often referred to as Black Friday. Unable to control the unrest, the Shah dissolved the civil government headed by Prime Minister Jafar Sharif Imami on November 6 and appointed General Ghulam Reza Azari as the Prime Minister, whom ultimately failed in his efforts to restore order to the country. As he was preparing to leave the country, the Shah dissolved the military government and appointed Shapur Bakhtiar, a reformist critic of his rule, as the new Prime Minister on January 4, 1979. Bakhtiar's government fell on February 11 and gave rise to the Islamic Republic and the creation of a new constitution. Article 79 of the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Iran forbids the proclamation of martial law without the approval of the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Ireland. In 1916, during the Easter Rising, Lord Wimborne, the Lord Lieutenant of Ireland, declared martial law to maintain order in the streets of Dublin. This was later extended both in duration and geographical reach to the whole of the country with the consent of the British government. Much of Ireland was declared under martial law by the British authorities during the Irish War of Independence. A large portion of Ireland was also under de facto martial law during the Irish Civil War. The current Irish constitution allows for martial law if the government declares a state of emergency. However, capital punishment is prohibited in all circumstances, including a state of emergency. Israel. Military administrative government was in effect from 1949 to 1966 over some geographical areas of Israel having large Arab populations, primarily the Negev, Galilee, and the Triangle. The residents of these areas were subject to martial law. The Israeli army enforced strict residency rules. Any Arab not registered in a census taken during November 1948 was deported. Permits from the military governor had to be procured to travel more than a given distance from a person's registered place of residence, and curfew, administrative detentions, and expulsions were common. Although the military administration was officially for geographical areas, and not people, its restrictions were seldom enforced on the Jewish residents of these areas. In the 1950s, martial law ceased to be in effect for those Arab citizens living in predominantly Jewish cities but remained in place in all Arab localities within Israel until 1966. Following the 1967 war, in which the Israeli army occupied the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Golan Heights in Syria, and Sinai Peninsula in Egypt, martial law over the Palestinian population as well as the Jordanian, Syrian, and Egyptian populations in these areas was put in place. In 1993, Israel agreed to give autonomy to the people of Gaza and disengaged militarily from Gaza from 2005 until 2007, when a military blockade was put in place on Gaza in response to the election of Hamas to the local government. During the 2006 Lebanon War, martial law was declared by Defense Minister Amir Peretz over the north of the country. The Israel Defense Forces were granted the authority to issue instructions to civilians.
Way station coming up and it's open. Alright, 128 mile marker, that's where it's at. I don't come through here enough to memorize this so well and so easily, but I knew it was over in this area. I just, always can never remember the exit number because I'm never over here. I got red lighted. expecting the light to turn red so I can register my weight, but light stayed green. So far, what I've been hearing there, I mean, in a way, it does sound like Della is right that it's possible that they could implement martial law in this situation we're in, but in another respect, it sounds like the only times any of the countries have ever used martial law, including the U.S., is when there's a civil unrest that that can threaten the security of the nation. I don't think this virus, with what's going on, I don't think that's creating a situation where there's any real threat to our national security from civilians. Blind that this is an applicable situation for martial law. What do you guys have thoughts on now? Based on what you're hearing so far, what do you guys think? Martial law is used also when the civil justice system is unable to serve its purpose on the civilian population. And again, that's another case. I don't see that it's that this situation is relevant to that. Could be wrong though, but just not really buying it myself. OKC. Yeah, we're coming up on the Lawrence Kilpatrick Turnpike. Yeah, just 1 mile from here. Can't just let off. I was in Italy when that mad cow disease became a thing, and of course there was more concern about it in Italy because mad cow disease, if I remember right, it originated with the cows in England. So it was like whoever got their beef from England, basically, it was the places that were more susceptible to it. So like the U.S. wasn't such a big problem because almost vast majority of all beef in the U.S. is grown is acquired domestically. Turnpike we go. It's roughly 20 or so mile trip around to, if I remember right, to where the turnpike turns into I-44. That'll be where it crosses I-35. like it was right before I got to the 111 marker, and 211 is the exit number that I'll be using. need to move over for this truck that's getting on the road. That was cool of her. Even though now she's camping out in the left lane, but I was just glad she moved over. It seemed like she knew that she was anticipating that I'd want to come over. People knee-jerk reacting. A lot of times they react the wrong way, and then they think more about it and read more about it, whatever, and then they come to their senses and go the opposite direction. I'm not saying that that's what's going on now, but it's possible that's what it is. Because they instantly think when they're injecting money into the market that it's devaluing the dollar. Yeah, of course. And then we won't be able to pay our debts. The government won't be able to pay its debt so easily. Yield curve to deal with, try to keep it from inverting too much, and when people are flooding the bond market with purchases, man, they're probably not helping it. The bond market, I'm not as expert on, I'll admit, as I am on stocks. Although I know a pretty fair amount about bonds. That's the usual thought is the more they inject money, the less able they'll be to pay debts. However, devalue the dollar, it also makes it more affordable for foreigners to buy U.S. goods and services, which is actually a stimulant to our economy. So it's kind of like it's a catch-22. Pick your poison. miles away from I-35 now. Alright, Carl, we'll talk to you soon. You gonna be streaming on Twitch? Sometimes I'll go on there and watch you even without an account. Just can't comment. Yeah, and I'll be a little bit busy when I first get to the yard, so I won't be able to get to you right away, but later on when I get back to the truck, if I'm not busy, I'll, once I'm not busy, whatever, if you're still on, I'll come check you out. I-35 coming up here. been worse drops than that before. They don't happen very often, but there have been some really big drops in the past. In fact, in 2007, when the bear market started for the recession, back then there were, I think it was like 12 and even 20% drop in a single day. It moved up just as quickly at times, but it also worked its way down even further as companies were laying off people, losing money, and all that kind of stuff. Your broker is correct. Don't panic. You'll be fine. Actually, a good time to buy right now when the price is so stupid low. S&P 500, I can talk about that all day, but 2,200 and some odd point drop means absolutely nothing to me because I don't know what level it was at before because I don't care about it. Now, if you tell me where the S&P 500 closed at, what its price is now, get a better sense of the magnitude of the drop. And it's not about the points, it's the magnitude, the percentage points. That's what translates into your account. Now, like I said, a 1,000 point drop from, let's just say the 10,000 level, that's a 10% drop. But a 1,000 point drop from the 20,000 point level, that's only a 5% drop. And from 30,000, a 1,000 point drop is only 3.33% drop. So you see the percentage translation is lower the higher the index's price is. And the percent part is what you care about if you're invested in any funds that follow that particular index. An investment fund out there that invests in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. If there are any, I don't know about them. Don't panic, it's not worth it. You'll get all of that back once the market roars back. And it will roar back eventually. And by eventually I don't mean 30 years from now, it'll be sooner. A lot sooner. Because you're not educated and experienced in a lot of things about the stock market. There's a lot to learn, and also there's that fear that, especially when you're closer to retirement, it's even more concerning because you're worried that you're going to need that money a lot sooner, or maybe you're already even living off of it, and you're worried that it's not going to come back. But in reality, counterintuitive. If you touch the money and move it somewhere you don't where you think it's safer, you're going to completely trash your account. Sooner or later, the markets will settle, but it'll rocket back up before it settles, and by then you've already missed the biggest gains, and by the time you're ready to get back in, the price is already way back above your exit price, and you just cost yourself a lot of money by doing that. Stock indexes always go up in value over the long term. Always. Someone did a study, like if you bought and held for different lengths of time on the S&P 500. Now, if you buy, let's just say if you only held for like a year at a time, then you would be. What is that? The percentage of the time that you would not come out ahead, or the percentage of the time that you'd come out ahead would be much lower. But then if you extend the horizon to 20 years, you got to where if you hold for 20 years and never touch it, there's never been any point in time in the S&P 500's history where holding for 20 years would have resulted in a loss. It's always been up over a 20-year span. There have been a couple of times where it did take longer to come back, mainly in between the dot-com recession and the Great Recession, if I remember right. But aside from the one exception, or I think it was further back, might have been between the 70s and 80s, those two recessions there. I want to say that might be it. Where it lingered for a long time, but all other times in stock market history, it's always been up. It's never taken that long to, more than a few years or so to recover. Yeah, please do. I can even do like a fundamental analysis on them, and so you can understand what you should be looking for. Get an idea if they're, if it's some of them are companies you should stay away from and why. A lot of people use the wrong logic. They might like a particular company because they're familiar with it, or they think it's the biggest thing since sliced bread or whatever. Or maybe they love the company as a consumer themselves. But the problem is, when you love them as a consumer, you're not looking at them from an objective investor's perspective. You're looking at them from a biased buyer, consumer's perspective, which give you give you reasons to buy them for the wrong reason. And yeah, there are other ways to look at it too. Like me, I would never pay a dime for any Apple product. I can't stand Apple. I don't like the way they do their businesses. I don't like their products, or the way their business model. But as an investor, I don't have a problem at all with putting money into them. If they're going to make me money, I'll be more than happy to invest in them. If they got good fundamentals, and if everybody else wants to buy their products and support their growth, all right, I'm going to put my money into shares of them and buy into them. Won't hurt my feelings at all. All I care about is my money making more money. And then with prices as low as they are, you can take advantage of what's called dollar cost averaging. So if you already own it is, and adding to the shares you already own, what you're doing is effectively lowering the average entry price of all the shares you own. And the lower the price gets and the larger your contributions are and your reinvestments are at lower prices, the more biases toward the lower price. Good example I like to use here. If you bought, let's just say $1,000 worth of shares of, let's just say, a $100 stock. How many shares did you buy? That's right. Thinking driving is your next career choice. Alright, so dollar cost average, I'm going to explain that. Okay, so if you spend $1,000 on shares that cost, let's just say $100 a piece, then you get 10 shares. You can buy 10 shares with $1,000. Now, if the price drops to, let's just say $50 per share, and let's just say you want to invest another $1,000, basically you have $2,000 total invested into the stock. And now on your second purchase, it's the same dollar amount that you spent on the first purchase, but you're getting twice as many shares because $1,000 divided by $50 per share is 20 shares. So now basically what you have is 30 shares total. 10 shares bought on the first purchase and 20 shares bought on the second purchase. That's 30 shares bought for a total of $2,000. So now if you figure out what's your average entry price, $2,000 divided by 30 shares is 6.66 if I'm not mistaken. So you bought, no, 66.66. So you originally bought shares at $100 per share. The price dropped and you bought more shares at $50 per share. Your original entry price was $100, but because you bought more shares at the lower price, it's not just half the share. It's not just halfway. It's the halfway point between 50 and 100 would be 75. As you see, the average entry price is 66.66. It biases toward the lower price shares, and that means what your average is now. Once the price does start to go back up from $50, it only has to get up to 66.66 for you to start breaking even on your total investment. And then when you get up to the original $100 purchase price, you're pulling a pretty good profit because of that dollar cost average that you took advantage of. So that's why I say especially if you can contribute more, don't fear falling stock prices. Actually, you should be salivating over it. Oh God, these are great prices here. I'm going to buy these up. But make sure you have the right stock for the right reason too, and that your stock's price is dropping for illegitimate concern, or even if it is a legit problem, make sure that they're financially capable of weathering the storm. Because there are companies out there that cannot handle that, cannot weather the storm, and they'll go bankrupt. The stock indexes, that's different. You're not going to have a stock index go bankrupt, because all it is a list of a bunch of companies. That's it. And then there are index funds, investable funds where people fund managers buy shares of all these different companies that are in that particular index. If one goes bankrupt, they get removed from the index and get replaced by a different one. It's not like you're not going to lose all your money. You might lose a little bit, but then they're going to replace the bad company with the one that's in better shape. And when it goes back up, you're in better shape. NCAA has canceled March Madness. About 25 miles out now from the mothership, as I call it. before he decides to go over. That's pretty smart there, Ormsby. You could have moved over quite several seconds earlier, not been in a position to cut that car off. I've been waiting for them to pass me the whole time so I can get around Walmart. Looks like they're getting some new trucks. Of course, Gemini being the company that hauls the loves fuel tankers. in uninvested cash, that's money that's not doing anything useful for him or his business. Do you really think that he wants to have that money doing nothing at all of use for him? No, he wants it to be productive. Just like if you ran a business and you had a bunch of employees, you wouldn't want to be paying a bunch of employees to be sitting there doing nothing of any non-productive use for you. He has the same attitude with his money. If he has money that's sitting on the side not being invested, there's a good reason for it, and it's not because he sees something bad going on. Because trust me, whenever one area is going bad, something else is going up. And he's gonna want to put that money into something that is going to be that's going to be useful for him in over the long-term horizon that he looks at it for. And he has a much longer investment time horizon than most people have too. He looks at least a 10-year period. And when he has that much money sitting on the side, it's highly likely he's looking for a good buy, something that's going to perform really well over a 10-year horizon that he just hasn't been, that he's just not convinced yet of where to put it. He has that kind of money because he wants to make a big purchase on something that is actually going to perform well over a longer 10 plus year period. He doesn't put that money on the side because he's worried about a recession. And that's what I think a lot of people need to learn and understand is most of what people know about stocks, they aren't thinking like a true investor. They're thinking like just some average person thinking the sky is falling or whatever. Or listening to too many pundits who are on either side of the coin. Another way I like to get people to think a little bit more like an investor is think if you had money to put into a local business. Maybe you have like a few different restaurants in town that interest you. Let's just say maybe you have $100,000 that you can invest in them to help them, expand or whatever. And if they can expand, then they also bring you more profits. But I'd say if you got one that's going to grow and that's actually going to use it for something useful, like expand their operation, like maybe open a second store in a good location, and it's going to increase their income, which means they can also pay you a larger amount. That'd be company A. Now company B, let's just say you invest in them, and all they're going to do is pay off debts or something, or maybe they invested in something that doesn't really become lead to anything fruitful. In other words, their income doesn't change because the money didn't go toward anything, or maybe they have bad management. Whatever it is, maybe they're just, whatever income they're making, maybe they're not going to increase their amount of income from the money that they got from you. And so they're not able to really give you a substantial return on your investment in them. They'll be able to pay you back. Who's this? 38, 35, I think. But not too much else they can really do. Now, third company, you invest in them and you got bad management and all they're doing is paying off bills that they already have. And maybe maybe they're losing business because of the bad management. They start losing income. Which one of those three companies would you want to invest your money in? Obviously, when it's a $100,000 investment you're making, you want to go for company A, right? you're investing in is really going to give you that return on your investment. You got to do your research. You can't just look at them from a biased consumer's perspective. Oh, I love this. Yeah, this is great. Okay, just because you love it doesn't mean the rest of the world loves it. And that's the same thing that happens with a lot of penny stock companies. Is they're in a very niche market that only caters to a certain type of customer, and you might be the certain type of customer that's them, but they can't grow very big if that's all they are. It's just a niche company. No matter how good the management is, if they're going to be in a niche market, they're just destined to be small. Shares of Berkshire Hathaway, they're B-class shares. Actually, their B-class shares is in the S&P 500. I don't remember what their share price is for that one. Now, you're thinking of the A-class shares, which are the voting class shares, and yeah, those are super expensive. Some other myths. I also hear a lot of people say, I only want to buy something with the share price, this particular price, because the lower the share price is, the higher it can go. No, it doesn't work that way. You can have a company with a $100 per share stock that can be a better value than a company with $10 per share stock. Just because you get 10 times as many shares out of the $10 company does not mean that they're a better buy. It's still the same amount of money invested. If you pay, just say $1,000 into both, it's $1,000 that you spent. It doesn't matter how many shares you got. You spent $1,000. Now, how much percent is each one going to grow by? Just because the $10 stock can potentially go higher, in terms of percentage, if it gets to the same point that the other one is at, doesn't mean that it will. So you gotta look at the company's actual value. What does their earnings data look like? Now, are they expected to grow their earnings? How consistent have they been about meeting or beating analyst earnings estimates? What are their plans to expand? And then what are their plans to hedge against economic downturns so that they can't go bankrupt? A lot of that stuff to be looking at, and most people don't. About 7 miles to go now. concerned with is making money off of the money you invest. That's it. So you can absolutely buy the B class shares, not have any voting power with them, and who cares anyway? And when when the price goes back up, you make money. Who's this? 4149. That sounds familiar. Who's 4149? I know that number. Oh, damn it. Got a bunch of vehicles coming around the curve on the left. I can barely see it until they're already practically by the off-ramp on the other side. I hate this damn off-ramp. Then there are always people coming off of Highway 66. Coming, which is on my right side over there. Looks like we're doing it. Come on. Yeah, that's what I had actually said a little earlier. Let's not come across my notifications. Yeah, and I can show you what to look for there, Jamie, with respect to should they make you money? Not just with the price, the fact their price is way down now. You gotta separate fact from fiction. Is their price down for a legit reason, or is it down for bullshit? And even if it's, whether it's legit or not, what are their earnings telling? Yeah, a little windy here or something. Gotta turn my steering wheel to the right a bit to drive straight. We've arrived at the mothership. Turn all my lights on and four ways because they inspect. Let me figure out who's 4149. I swear I know that number. Is that Tyler? I think that one. They kind of look like Tyler and the guy with the checkered shirt in front of me. I think that's one of the DMs. I didn't get a good enough look, but it kind of looked like Scott Conrad. And then the guy walking with him, I didn't get a good enough look either, but it kind of looked like it might have been Tyler Preston, who's the fleet, our fleet manager. Basically, he's the supervisor of all the DMs. Daniel and Dave know I'm here. Oh, get that thing out of my way. New notifications. Get out of here. It's a freaking new notification thing on my way. I can't. just left. That's funny. So now I know who 4149 is. That was Daniel. It's
Hey, you know these DOT on your trucks due this month, right?
No, it isn't. I just got one done, and I have it right here on my clipboard.
Oh, you have the updated one there?
Yeah, they didn't give me the regular.
Oh, they didn't put a sticker on your truck? Did it give the sticker to you?
I couldn't even get a freaking regular card for it. I had to actually have them email me that because they didn't do their job completely.
Okay, usually they give you a sticker with this. Or I put it on the truck somewhere. Did they not give you a sticker with it?
I had to print this from my own printer. That's how bad they were.
And you had it done at a Rush Truck Center?
Yeah, in Fontana.
They usually put a sticker on your truck somewhere. Did you ever check the door to make sure they didn't put it in the door panel or anything down in here?
Yeah, I checked in here, checked in the glove box, checked everywhere. They didn't give me the inspection card or a sticker. And I haven't
Why
told
they
them.
didn't do that, I don't know. Usually it's either a red one or something like that. Red like what they have on the side of the trailers and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because the one I had done last year was done on the 18th of March. I remember that. Because I still have the old card right here, but yeah, it says.
Oh yeah, that's still good to the 18th.
Yeah.
Well, actually, if you ever get back to wherever that one was done at, where was that done at? What center?
Fontana, their vocational.
Yeah,
building.
by the time you get, the 18th, if you ever get back out that way, man, you might want to stop by there and say, hey, y'all did this on my truck, but yet you never give me a sticker for the side of my truck. I never received the hard copy, or did I ever receive the little sticker that goes with that hard copy?
Yeah, for the one that I printed, I had to threaten that, hey, I want my money back then if I have to go get it done again somewhere else. If you guys can't do the full job completely for me, then I want my money back and I'll get someone else to do it.
Well, that right there should have told you everything. Oh, they didn't do one. If you had to threaten them to get a copy of all that and the sticker and the whole, whatever, to get a print off of that.
Well, they did do the inspection. They just didn't do a good. They didn't give me my copy like they were supposed to have, and they didn't put the sticker on it like they were supposed to. Interesting. They don't seem to have a shitload of trucks here. They have a Peterbilt right here, 3400. I'm wondering if that's a 10-speed. Because there's this Peterbilt here right in front of me, Ford 3412's. That's in the student line, basically, or not student, but the orientation line. So when you hire, basically, those are the ones that are available for people to start driving when they get hired, or sometimes people want to upgrade from another truck, or switch trucks. Maybe they're having problems with their current truck, or just want to upgrade, or whatever. That's the list. No, that's the list of trucks that are available. too happy with those guys. I'm like, next time I need to do a DOT, I'll probably just get a load back here to the yard and have you guys
You
do
might
it.
get with the shop and see if they can transfer that over to one of ours, so you have a hard copy and a sticker, and show them, hey, Montana did it, but you know, I had to threaten and tell them exactly. I had to threaten them to get my money back in order to get this piece of paper emailed to me so I can print it off.
Yeah, that'll work.
Personally, you know, and if you did it through breakdown, going to Montana, if you did it through breakdown has records of that.
Yeah, because I usually do send a macro 18 whenever I get that stuff done.
They have the records of exactly what was done on your truck. So that way you can get with the shop and see if they can transfer that copy over to one of ours so you can have that updated sticker.
Okay.
And then also tell them that it was done through breakdown so they can get a hold of breakdown to confirm what was done on your truck.
Okay, refresh my memory because I know breakdown moved. Are they in the office right in front of John Mowry's office or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, where logs used to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go talk to them.
Go to the shop first, and that way get them involved with it also through breakdown, so that way they both kind of get together and see what they can do about getting you the actual copy and the sticker.
Okay, yeah, I want to get my APU checked out by them anyway, so perfect.
Go there and do all the truck stuff and everything, and tell them, hey, I have this piece of paper, but for some reason they didn't give me the hard copy or the sticker for the side of my truck to go on my truck.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
And the thing, and ask them, is there any way that I can get this transferred to one of the DOTs from here, so that if I get pulled over in a station or anything, I don't have to pull out all these papers and da-da-da-da
Right.
to prove my DOT is up to date.
Yeah, and we get red lighted all the time too.
Yeah, it's
So.
like, you know, and you know, it's like they see that old sticker on the side there, all we need to do is level 1 or whatever on your truck and trailer, no, you know.
Yeah.
Just, you can have to do all that crap, you know.
You bet.
Just tell them that, hey, I got this done supposedly in Montana. I had to threaten them to get my money back, to get this emailed so I could print it off. And it was through breakdown. And I want to clean this all up so I have a sticker and a hard copy like the one I have from, you know, last year in my truck, so that if I never do get pulled up at a way station, they ask me for all my stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I'll let them know.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. I'm gonna drop my trailer. I'll drop my trailer and come back over here. Is that Dave right there? Yeah, it is. We're flipping each other off. We're gonna park. I'll be right back. Sounds familiar. It's not that Ryan Sims guy, is it? This guy was on Shay's board. I can't remember his truck number though.
riding in a
out of the way.
Pete. Oh my God, kill me now. Oh shit. Not an automatic.
Nope. That's how I like it.
Yes. I do like my automatic though.
And I'm live.
Oh! It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I disconnected from the trailer. A little bit rougher coming out than I normally am. Because I'll normally drop the airbag.
Yeah. Now, is that your dash cam?
This is the dash cam.
Ah.
And there's another one right here. And then I've got another one down here on my rear view mirror.
But those are yours.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is my phone. And you can say hi, they can see you.
Hey! Oh.
This is Dave. He's a friend of mine. He's been here. You
He's
guys,
trying to say that, but I don't know.
yeah. That's right. He's a Steelers fan, so maybe not
Yeah,
that big. a
yeah,
fan.
yeah.
Now, Dave's been here for, I think, a little over 3 years, right?
2.5.
2.5, okay.
Yeah.
I know it was longer than I have, but I thought it was more like 3 or so.
Yeah. Not quite, not quite. Oh.
I don't want to attract unneeded attention from John Mallory, so I'll take it a little easy here coming through the lot.
Actually, John Mallory's back there in the back corner. He's driving his little Matchbox car back there.
Oh.
I think he's showing somebody a truck or something.
See, I don't know, that might be town over there. I can't tell. That's one. What's that brand? That's not Brian Stewart, is it?
I honestly have no idea. I don't know as many people here.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. All right, guys, I got stuff I gotta take care of, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the feed. I'll catch up with you guys a little later on, all right? I'll probably be leaving in the morning, so early in the morning, I would guess, unless I can get rid of this load. So, all right, you all, thanks for hanging out and watching. I got almost 20 people watching right now.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I'm famous.
Yeah. So,
Autographs later.
all right, guys. I hate to be a little abrupt. I got a lot of stuff going on though, so we'll see y'all in the morning. Okay.